Tonight's subject, as you have surely gleaned by now, is nothing. And the existence of nothing. And the program, just so you know, we weren't running out of toner, all right? We were trying to figure out a way to have the title become nothing. So this is our attempt to capture that fact. There's nothing wrong with your program. Tonight's subject, as you have surely gleaned by now, is nothing. And the existence of nothing. And the program, just so you know, we weren't running out of toner, all right? We were trying to figure out a way to have the title become nothing. So this is our attempt to capture that fact. There's nothing wrong with your program. The subject of nothing. I don't know if George Gershwin wrote the first song ever on the subject of nothing, but in Porgy and Bess, the title of the song was, "I've got plenty of nothing, and nothing's got plenty of me." And so nothing, of course, has been on people's minds a long time. Actually, back then, the words of that song would have been uttered, "I got plenty o' nuttin'." That's how they were written. Times have changed, haven't they? They brought a friend with them, Heidi Sweets is her name, and they forwarded me a poem she wrote on nothing. I felt compelled to read this before we begin, to set some of the mood of the evening. Nothing speaks volumes. Imprisoned dreams, jailed forever, forgiveness weeps. No tears are released. Silence begs for ease. Anger has no hope. Indifference rejoices, while nothing holds court with jesters of time. Nothing waits and waits. Thank you, Heidi, for that contribution. Let's bring out our guest and get the party started. My first guest is a professor of physics at Stanford University, professor of theoretical physics, that is. Don't know if she's ever even visited a particle accelerator, but she tells him perhaps what to look for. Professor Eva Silverstein. Eva. Next, we have our first time ever three-peat. We have the physicist and professor of Earth and space exploration, Lawrence Krauss. Lawrence, come on out. Lawrence was in the first ever Asimov debate. The fact that he's been here 3 times means he just always works on controversial topics. Hence, we always reach for him. My next guest, a longtime colleague of mine during my days at Princeton, is J. Richard Gott III. He's professor of astrophysics there. Rich Gott, come on out. Rich, you brought a shopping bag. I don't know what you got going there. Maybe we'll find out later. I'm almost afraid to ask. Reminding you that this is a debate about nothing. So, next, we have a longtime writer, contributor to major publications, and his specialty on the topics on which he writes is the intersection between physics and philosophy, Jim Holt. Jim Holt, come on out. Thank you. And last, and I was going to say not least, but it kind of is least because this guy is the world's expert on zero. Charles Seif, come on out. He's professor of journalism, New York University. So the way this works is you are eavesdropping on a conversation the 5 of them will be having that I will be steering. All right, these aren't lectures. These are not, it's kind of just see what we would talk about if we were at a bar. That's really how this works. We've done this 14 years in a row, and we have a fun time doing it, and I'm glad you're here to join us. So each of the 5 panelists will start out with like 1 or 2 minute remarks, just so you can hear their voice and get a feeling for how they speak, and then we'll jump right in. So Eva, please, let's begin with you.
So let me just say that one of the greatest results in all of physics, I think, is our understanding of how structure in the universe formed, starting from quantum fields that for all practical purposes were in their ground state, in their vacuum state. And that, combined with the inflationary expansion of the early universe and quantum mechanics, leads to the origin of structure that we see today. And just last point about this for now is that one of the most interesting features that we've learned about this more recently is its sensitivity to very high energy physics, questions that bring in problems of quantum gravity, and which on the one hand, and which on the other hand are accessible through some observations of the microwave background radiation. So to me, that's the most interesting version of nothing that I know.
So you're saying when you say it's sensitive too, you mean possibly experiments can come and have a bearing on your theoretical meanderings?
Indeed. So the inflationary theory is subject to probes. In fact, there's one coming out tomorrow that's very relevant.
Tomorrow, so we're one day too early. But Lawrence, reintroduce yourself to everybody here. Thanks for coming. Just off the plane from Sweden, by the way. Lawrence, thanks for coming in a third time.
It's always a pleasure to be back and to have fun here. Well, obviously, I've thought a lot about nothing. I've written a book about it recently, but I think that the most exciting thing, there are 2 things. First of all, that we've learned that most of the universe is nothing. Nothing is the most important part of the universe, so you're all more insignificant than you thought. And the second thing is that if you asked, and one of the things I find most amazing, is if you asked what would be the characteristics of a universe that was created from nothing by just natural laws without any supernatural shenanigans, it would be the characteristics of the universe we live in. And that I find amazing and worth celebrating, because it makes God more redundant than God was before.
Yes. Next, Rich Gott.
That's how it's going to go. I'm Rich Gott. I work on general relativity and cosmology, and I discovered an exact solution to Einstein's field equations for a cosmic string and for then 2 moving cosmic strings. And that was interesting because it allowed time travel to the past, like several solutions that are known. Kurt Gödel found one in 1949, and then there's the wormhole solution. I'm wearing a coat tonight that Bob Kirshner called the coat of the future. He said, Richard, you must have gotten this coat in the future and brought it back in your time machine because this color hasn't been invented yet. So whenever I'm talking about time travel, which I will a little bit tonight, I wear this coat. So I'm relevant to tonight. Li-Jing Li and I worked on a quantum vacuum state that we thought might be relevant for the creation of the universe. We'll say more about that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Jim Holt, what have you got for us?
The old equation that we have, that we inherited from Christian metaphysics, is that God created the world out of nothing. So it's God plus nothing equals the world. And you take God out of the equation, and I'm all for that. But so now we have blank plus nothing equals the world. And what you put in the blank is the laws of nature, the laws of quantum field theory. And I think that actually in worrying too much about the problem of why there's something rather than nothing, and trying to find something to put in the blank where God used to be, you're actually still in thrall to Christian metaphysics. And I think you see the laws of nature, particularly the laws of quantum field theory, very much as divine commands. So I think you're shall we say, insufficiently enlightened.
Oh,
How dare you be
snap!
so rude? Why, no one's ever said that.
We'll revisit this. So, Charles, Mr. Zero.
I don't know how I'm going to follow this.
Wait, we get his microphone working over there?
Hello, testing.
They turned it to 0, I think.
You are so full of zero. Why don't you borrow this?
I'm Charles Seif, and I think I'm just here to fulfill my father's prophecy that I'm good for nothing.